Lucas Bahdi, professional boxer out of Niagara Falls, Canada, West End Gym. Welcome to the Johnny I Pro Show.
I have here Lucas Prince Bahdi, professional boxer, 15-0. Welcome to the show.
Good to see you, Johnny.
Good, for sure. I gotta say thanks for dropping by. Now, congrats before we start, Lucas Jr. Cool, congrats on your baby boy as well.
Thank you.
I gotta say that's amazing seeing that. Now, your next fight, you're saying it's gonna probably be like probably in the new year.
Yeah, early in the new year. Got a big fight coming up. It's gonna put me really high in the rankings. It's gonna basically put me in like the eyes of the big names. So
Were you happy with your performance from the last fight?
Yeah, I was happy with it. I mean, I knew exactly what kind of opponent I had in front of me. He was an incredibly tough guy. He beat a lot of good fighters, a hard puncher, and he was just a come forward tough dude, right? And I fought him in a ring that was probably 10 by 10. So it was probably the worst ring to fight him in, but you know what? It really made me. I had to be precise with my feet, my movement, everything, right? But I got him out of there in the fifth, and got the job done. I was really happy with the fifth round knockout.
You fought 7 times in 2019?
I fought 7 times in 2019. But
As a pro?
But I fought 9 fights in 9 straight months.
It's like a month after a month. Wow. I didn't know that you could do that. Like, you're actually able to do that? Like, fight as many pro fights as you can?
I mean, if you look at my box record, my first 10 fights, I was knocking these guys out in the first few rounds, right? So if you're going under 4 rounds, you only get a 14-day suspension.
Wow.
Right? So every like 3-4 weeks, I was fighting. I was trying to stay busy. You know, I was basically following the Mike Tyson blueprint.
Blueprint, exactly.
And you know, it came to a point where COVID kind of put everything on a halt, and then I got fed up, and I went down to Mexico and I fought, and I actually
traveled everywhere.
Yeah, I had some 2 bad hand injuries. I broke both my hands
In Mexico.
Wow. So I was out for a year and a half after that fight.
Wow.
But now we're back. I've had 4 or 5 fights since.
Wow.
And my hands are 100%, so we're ready to go.
How was like fighting in Mexico? How's the atmosphere there?
I fought there 6 times.
6 times. How's the atmosphere there?
It's great because they're fight fans.
Yeah.
They don't care who you are, where you're from.
They just want a good fight.
They want to see a good fight.
Wow.
Like I walked in the ring, they're chanting my name.
And you're like, what's going on here?
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Who's your biggest inspiration growing up, as in like boxers and stuff?
I was a big Floyd Mayweather fan.
Money, wow, okay.
I used to study his videos like all day, and then I would go to the gym and I would try to simulate him, right? But yeah, guys like Canelo, those are the guys that I looked up to because I was a big fan of defense, and I still am a big fan of defense. As you can see in my fights, I don't get hit very often.
And you get them tired, of course, because they're just throwing in.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hit and not get hit. It's the name of the game. So, yeah, I like defensive fighters, but I also like knockouts.
Yes, of course.
Right. So, I'm a little bit a mix of both, right? Where I got the great defense, and I also knock people out with one shot.
Your most memorable fight to date? If there's something like memorable fight that just stands out to you, like wow, that like I was impressed. You were impressed by your own performance.
Against That was definitely my best performance. As far as he was a very, very credible guy, good fighter. I knew he was the best professional I've fought, and I was extremely focused, laser focused for that fight, and I made little to no mistakes offensively and defensively, so I was very happy with that.
What separates you now from other fighters?
Honestly, my IQ. I think my IQ is right up there, and I mean, I got speed, I got power, but I think my IQ is what brings you to the next level, right? It brings you to the top, at least.
And how about you, like your training camp for fights and stuff? Like especially, let's talk about now. Like let's obviously mention Steve Bailey.
Mm-hmm.
Like what does he like mean to you and stuff as like a whole trainer and stuff? Because obviously you know like as a trainer, like you could even myself like you could speak to him like he's everything.
Yeah.
He'd give you like tips, all that stuff. Like what does Steve Bailey mean to you?
Well, Steve Bailey's been with me since I started fighting as a professional, and you know what? No one knows me better in the ring than Stevie.
For sure.
And honestly, I think I have a lot more tools than I've showed in my fights, and I don't think people realize how great I'm gonna be. But I think Bailey is the only one that really knows how great I am.
You have you yourself. When I say pound for pound, you're one of the best. Then you have like Josh Wagner. You have Ryan Rizicki. Like there's like the whole like it's a team basically and stuff. Like the whole culture of the West End and stuff. Like what are your whole thoughts on like that gym and stuff, like the atmosphere? Because when I go in there, it's electric for sure. Like it's a top tier gym.
You travel the world and you see all these you know, world champions and all this kind of stuff, and they all come from gyms where they're surrounded by great fighters, right? So we have that here at West End Gym, where we got all these guys that are on. We all have the same goal, right? And everyone's trying to make it to the top.
Of course.
So everyone feeds off each other, and I think that's very important to have in a gym, especially on the come up. So I'm lucky, I'm blessed to be in that atmosphere and have great people around me.
You trained everywhere. It's like Vegas, Texas, Florida, and I have it here as well. Bruce Carrington, Icewater, Foster, and obviously Adrian Broner as well. Like, how was your whole thing, like training with those top guys?
You know what? I've been in the ring with world champions and soon to be world champions, and I'm at that level. So it gives you the confidence when when it's time to make those step up fights and get into those big fights. I know I've where I'm at.
Of course.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a lot of times, like, people don't get that opportunity where they don't get to spar these type of caliber fighters, and then when they get into the ring with them, it's almost like the deer in the headlights.
Like, oh, yeah.
Right.
So wake up, holy.
It's nice to be in there and work with these guys, because it gives me a self confidence to see where I'm at.
What's the most valuable lesson that you learned from boxing?
You know what? It's basically you get what you put in. You know what I mean? If you're gonna give 100%, you're gonna get good results.
And how do you stay so like positive and motivated?
You know what? I don't know. I'm just a self-motivated guy, and I'm just a positive guy. Like, after that fight, I broke both my hands. Both my hands were broken. I was
Wait,
useless.
is it the same fight? Like same fight, both hands?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I remember after that fight, everyone thought my career is over.
Yeah.
Like, this guy's done. And I was just thinking, there's no way in hell I'm done. Like, I'm just getting started. Yeah. You give me I was thinking, you give me 6 months, I'm gonna be back in the ring.
How quick did you recover from that?
You know what? It took me a year and a half, a year to year and a half, but only because they couldn't figure out what the real issue was with this one. So the right hand was a little complicated, and it was a year after the fight where I actually had the surgery.
Wow.
So it took a lot more time than it should have, but at the end of the day, I didn't lose focus, and I didn't get down on myself. I was just like, I'll wait it out.
Some people probably take it so down.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And there was a year where this hand was healed, and I was still sparring and training every day. I was just sparring one-handed.
In specifics of like that same fight, like what was it, like one round after another? Like how did you even know that was broken?
You know what? The truth comes out. The right hand was broken before the fight.
No,
but I was just so stubborn, and I couldn't say no. And like my ego got to me. I fought with one hand, and I broke my left hand in the first round.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow, this is amazing. Wow.
It was like a very unlucky situation, but it showed how deep I'm willing to dig, because when you got no hands, you can't think.
And especially in what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So wow, just shows the character. Like this is crazy.
Yeah, and you got a guy that knows you're hurt.
Did he know that you had a broken hand, you think?
No, but he knew I was hurt.
Oh, okay, yes.
He knew I was hurt because, I mean, if you just watch the fight, you know something's up.
Yeah.
I was taking shots, and I don't normally take shots.
It wasn't like, did it go decision? Like, how was the end of that fight?
I knocked him out in the fourth.
Get out of here! No way! Wow, this is incredible.
Yeah, dude, there could have been a movie.
Well, there had to be a documentary behind that.
We'll have to do another episode just on that.
Let's go. It's like, are you a fan of this whole like content creators, influencers, going into the boxing world and stuff?
I don't mind it at all. I'll tell you why. Guys like Logan and Jake Paul, they bring a lot of eyes to the sport.
And money, right? For sure.
And a lot of money to the sport. And guys that are fighting on their undercard are getting probably paid double what they normally would. They're going to make money whatever they do.
Yes, exactly.
They got that following.
Yeah.
So whether it's boxing or it's curling. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
They're
so-
gonna make money.
Personal goals for you in boxing. What are your personal goals?
Man, I would love to be an undisputed world champion. I feel like I have the ability to do that, and I think 135 division is going to be my division.
I was gonna say now, what does boxing, the sport, mean to you?
And boxing's like just a sport of respect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You go in there and you go to war with somebody and you try to kill him and he's trying to kill you, and you literally hug it out after.
Yeah. So it's
And, you know what I mean?
so you're going to war. You're going to
Yeah.
legit war. And
So
that's
it's crazy that you go to trying to kill somebody, and then the bell rings, and you're like, man, I love this guy.
Love this guy, yeah, good
thank
fight.
you, thank you for a great
Let's go for
fight.
saying legacy before. That word legacy. Like, how important is legacy to you?
That's why I named my son Lucas Jr.
Dynamite.
Right?
Crazy.
I want him
baby.
to carry on the legacy. So it's very important to me.
When it's all set and done, what do you want everybody to remember Lucas Bahdi as?
The greatest Canadian fighter to ever come out of Canada.
Couldn't have said it better. Pound for pound, best right here, coming out of Canada. I've been saying that from the beginning. 50-0 right here, guys. 13 KOs. Lucas Prince Bahdi. What can I say? Thank you for coming to the show
Thanks,
for
brother.
sure.
Appreciate
For
it.
sure, guys. Stay tuned for his next fight in the new year.